Hi everybody, I'm Amy from the Cauldron, and in today's episode of Dye Time I'm going to be dyeing two 10-gram skeins of bamboo silk sock yarn. I can't quite remember what the amount of bamboo and the amount of silk is, but I will add that down at the bottom. This, as it's a plant-based fibre, I'm going to be using Fibre reactive dyes, and it has been soaking in soda ash and water for a couple of hours now. So I'm going to be using two different techniques. The first technique I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle some powder on. This is Wisteria. It's a fibre reactive dye from Dyer. And once I've finished sprinkling the powder dye, I'm going to wrap it up in this cling film which I've got on the table already, and just let it sit for probably 24 to 48 hours. Now, I'm not washing my hands in between, but I have got this towel down on the table which I am using to wipe dye off my fingers. This next one is dazzle. I'm just going to lightly sprinkle. I'm just curious to see how this fibre works, how it takes up the dye, if this sort of speckling works for it, or if I need to do something else. Just curious because I've never used this fibre type before. So as I said, I'm just wiping my fingers off on this towel and going into lime pop. Now this one is, if you can see, this one there, you can see there, it's quite clumpy. Now I think this is because of the lemon yellow that's in it. Lemon yellow is the primary yellow, which goes into a lot of these dyes, and it is very, very clumpy, which makes it very hard to speckle with this. As you can see, I made such a mess of this lime pop area, whereas with the razzle dazzle and wisteria are quite neat and tidy. But yeah, look, cut all that on my fingers. Alright, I'm going to, what should I do? Right, I'm going to wash my hands first of all. I actually ended up changing gloves because there was a bit of a hole in that one and my finger was slowly turning green. Right, flip this over and sprinkle the same colours on the other side. That lime pop has spread out quite a lot, whereas the razzle dazzle and wisteria haven't. Oh, managed to get a bit of green over that side. Oh, this lime pop just gets everywhere. This is why you need to protect your surface area, wear mask and gloves, because this dye just goes all over the place. I'm not going to bother with more lime pop because that looks pretty good, but I'm going to gently just add a little bit more razzle dazzle. No, that's lime pop. And add just a little bit of wisteria. This one is such a pale pastel colour. Just going a bit heavier with this one. I've dyed this on yarn on animal fibre yarn. I mean, in a 1% solution, which means there's 1 gram of dye per 100 grams of yarn, and there's barely any colour at all, so that's why I've gone quite heavy this time. See, that razzle dazzle has split into the blues and pinks that it's made of, and there's even a few pops of yellow in there. It's gorgeous. Come over to the lime pop. You can see that yellow dye, but it's turned into this most beautiful green, which I adore. And over here with the wisteria, similar to the razzle dazzle, except it's just so pale. See, over here you can just about see little pops of blues and pinks, but this colour is so pale. And there's my big splodge of lime pop. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more wisteria, just because there is barely any colour. I mean, if you look at the powder, it looks like it's just barely any colour. Right, that'll do. Hold it up in this cling film, and it needs to stay damp, which is why I'm folding it in cling film, and I'm just going to leave it somewhere warm and out the way, probably the garden shed, for the next 24 to 48 hours. For the second 15-gram skein of this, I am just going to dye it in some liquid dye. I have here some more lime pop. There's 0.2 grams of lime pop dissolved in here, and I'm just going to pour that in, so it's slightly over a 1% solution. There we go. I'm just going to add a bit more water. There we go. Give it plenty of room to move, and I'm just going to leave this again for 24 to 48 hours. Oh, can't even see it. Oh, there we go. Here it is. I'm just going to leave this for 24 to 48 hours just to see how well it takes up this dye, and then maybe I'll over dye it, who knows. So this bamboo yarn has been sitting in the warm shed for, I think it's been about 3 days now, so let's wash it. I have got my gloves on because if you can see close up, see those yellow splodges? That is undissolved dye. That is quite common for that yellow, and I don't want my fingers to be completely dyed, so that's why I've got gloves on, but it does make unravelling cling film a lot harder. And you can see there is still quite a lot of dye on this cling film. But the colours, wow! These colours look great. And I'm going to just put this on a reusable zip tie, just to help things not get so tangled. And the stuff that was in here is kettle dyed. Actually, maybe because I can see there's all that pink runoff, I don't want the pink to transfer to this because this is gorgeous. So I'm going to rinse this one out first. Yeah, there's a lot of colour coming off of this. I would hope that there wouldn't be much colour transfer because the dye has stopped reacting. As that's what happens with fibre reactive dyes, it stops reacting after a while. About 48 hours was what we discovered in that video I did with the embroidery floss. But I'm still playing it safe, and I don't want to risk it. So there you go. That water's starting to run clear now. That's just cold water. So I can add this. Try to keep things not so tangled. There is always runoff when there's fibre reactive dyes and plant fibres. Now, I know that hot water will sometimes help to set the dye, keep the colours vibrant, so I'm just going to wash this in some warm water with some fairy liquid. I'm washing up liquid, and I can't actually see much colour coming out of this at all. So what I'm going to do is what I do with all my cotton dyes, is I'm going to fill up this jar again, clean it out first, and just leave these to soak, and then I change the water every, I don't know, between 10 and 30 minutes. I just find that's a better way to wash cotton based stuff because it does bleed a lot. Yeah. but if you can see, the water isn't that dark, so this shouldn't take long for this to wash clear. And here is our finished yarn. This yarn is 65% Superwash Merino, 20% bamboo viscose and 15% silk. So I could have used either Fibre reactive dyes or acid dyes on this. I went for the Fibre reactive dyes and the soda ash soak, and I think it's fantastic considering the soda ash won't really help the dye to bind to the Superwash Merino. This has created a gorgeous, I'd say semi-solid colourway here. This was the lime pop. I wouldn't say this is solid because as an indie dyer, it's impossible for me to get a solid colourway like the mass-produced colours are. But I think this is great. There will be some very slight tonal variations throughout that, but it's worked really, really well. And here we've got the yarn which I speckled. So that was lime pop, razzle dazzle and wisteria. Now wisteria is a very, very pastel colour, and when I have used it in solution it barely shows. So I went really heavy with the wisteria because I wanted to really see what it could do. And look at that breaking. It is absolutely stunning. I love how these purples and pinks break. You can see there has been a bit of the lime pop there, which I dropped. And then we move on to the razzle dazzle, which is just fabulous. I've speckled with this before, and yeah, it just looks absolutely amazing. I love how it breaks. And then onto the lime pop at the end, which I love. I love greens, I love bright colours, so this is just me all over. The lime pop's quite a difficult colour to speckle with because the yellow in it is quite clumpy. But I think this looks really great now. You can see the yellow and lots and lots of green there. And where the colour changes, I think it looks good. It hasn't blended, well, it has blended, it hasn't muddied. And you can see all those lovely colours there. And again, it just looks fantastic there. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. And this yarn is so soft. And it was really easy to dye. I just love it. It's so soft and silky. I think I might have to start stocking this. You know, I wish I'd kept some of this yarn and used acid dyes on it instead of fibre reactive dyes, just to see how it works, how it compares. So I think I'm going to have to buy some more of this yarn to play with. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Do please click like and subscribe to my channel. I produce a new dyeing tutorial every Monday, and it's usually published between about 6 and 8 PM on my YouTube channel. And I do like to experiment with different dyes, fibre types, techniques, all sorts. So there should always be something different and interesting to watch. Thank you so much for watching.